All right, some retail stores are looking to address racial bias by implementing new protocols.
So the goal here is to reduce racial profiling by including training for employees focusing on the behavior of people who come into the store as opposed to just their appearance. The increased push for change comes after 40% of retail shoppers say they experienced unfair treatment in a store due to their race or skin color in a 2021 survey commissioned by Sephora.
For more on this, we're joined by Joann Lublin. She's a contributor for the Wall Street Journal and knows all about this study. It's really interesting. What are the changes stores are implementing, and what's the timeline that they are suggesting it will take effect?
Well, I think the biggest change that's happening is trying to train people differently, not just the salespeople, but the folks who are in charge of security. They have to have different kinds of attitudes. They have to be judging people on their behavior, not judging them on their appearance. And part of the focus of this training is to essentially walk in the shoes of the customer, treat the customers as you would want a loved one to be treated, and speak up if you see racial profiling going on, and do that in a non-threatening way.
Racial profiling has long been a plague of shoppers, for shoppers of color. I'm curious if this type of training actually shows any evidence of working and how these companies attempt to actually measure success.
Those are all excellent questions, but unfortunately, as they say, TBD. There is a industry-wide campaign that this training is part of, and not very many of the participating brands have yet undertaken that training. One of the companies I mentioned the story plans to offer this training to their entire sales force this year. So this is a relatively new effort that grew out of this 2021 study, but it is the first time that retailers have gotten together to try and combat racial bias in retailing, and obviously profiling is just one aspect of that.
And Joann, you know, I'm unsure of what to think about this. Sephora deserves some credit because they had a kind of racial profiling incident that initially sparked them saying, you know what, we're going to own it, we're going to study it and try and create change. But to Lana's point, you know, everyone has unconscious bias. They can be deep-seated issues that are at the root of the problem. You know, is a training class where you click on some buttons or listen to someone for an hour or so going to really solve these differences? Or is this more about companies just saying, hey, we know it's a problem and we're trying to do something?
No, I don't think training suffices. And in fact, lawyers who have brought a number of lawsuits and in many cases won them, where their clients have been racially profiled as customers, say that that is not going to change the underlying racism that exists in our society. And that's why there have to be other actions taken. You know, one of the issues is if you feel like you've been mistreated as a person of color, as a customer, you're not likely to buy anything in that store.
Right.
You know, you're going to walk out without buying anything, and they'll never know because you don't fill out the survey that's, you know, the links on your receipt. So Sephora is trying out an approach in which they try to essentially buttonhole people who may or may not have bought something to get feedback as they leave the store. There are other actions that could be taken. You can use fewer outside providers of security. Those tend to be off-duty police officers. If you have your own in-house security, you have more control over training.
Yeah, I'd also say that, you know, as a reality check, sometimes it's not as simple as just walking out and not buying something because you have to buy something. But that's also another reason why it's important to support local retailers, people of color who have their own businesses, et cetera.
Yeah, Joann, great points. Great for shining a spotlight on this topic. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.